Okay, so after all the stimulating and wonderful things we've heard from all the esteemed people here, let's get back to business. You're all going to become journalists very soon, and that means you're going to start interacting with people who want to use you. Yes or no? Okay. So what is the job of a journalist in brand building for a company? Because I'm turning the topic on its head. It says corporate communications as an effective medium for brand building. What do you understand by the term corporate communications? And after this, we'll take your questions. The first thing I said when I first met you all day before yesterday was what George Orwell said. Journalism is printing what nobody else wants printed. Everything else is public relations, right? Now you as earnest, honest, unsellable journalists of the future are going to interact with people from PR agencies and PR companies and brand businesses. You have to know the fine line between brand building and the usage of you as a brand. Okay, so let's get down to some Q&A, which you can ask questions to all the people up on the dais here. Aditya, is there anything that I need to know?
Yes, actually we have a list of people who have already submitted their names. They want to ask questions.
Okay, are you going to read out the questions, call the people? How's the format?
Madhuri, we have Madhuri here.
Madhur.
Sorry, Madhur. Yeah, Madhur, please.
That's why English is so dangerous language, and I can change the gender. So my question is, what all things should be kept in mind before communicating about a brand?
Who are you asking?
The man in the center, sir.
Anurag.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Batra.
Mr. Batra is my dad, you know, and my young son who's 6 years old. Anyway, you know, I'm not. I'll tell you, बहुत simple से बताता हूँ मैं कि आप करना क्या चाहते हैं, करना क्या है. What is the, who is it that you want to reach out? तो आपकी target audience क्या है, target group क्या है, और what is your immediate reason for brand building? I mean, of course, brand building is long term, it's not short term, but you know, what is it that you want to do today? What is your immediate objective? What is it that you want to engineer by doing that? So depending on that, you know, as we in advertising, I used to work for J. Walter Thompson. We call it a brief. And Ravina, you know, we've talked very little about Ravina. You know, I just thought after I answer this question, I've met her after many, many years, so I'll tell you a little bit about her. I know a little bit only, so I'll tell you a little bit. But, you know, it depends on what your brief is. And brief is basically saying, what is the target group you want to reach out to? What is it you want to calibrate? What is it that you want your TG to say about your brand, right? And today, you know, traditionally brand building or advertising had ROI, which was return on investment, which you measured in terms of, you know, share of voice for the brand or share of market or the share of wallet that the consumer was spending. But today ROI has become return on insights, or, you know, it has become ROE, return on engagement. Today you're engaging brands. If you engage with brands in some categories which are called must-have categories, consumption will anyway happen. So as long as you stay in the consideration set, and you know, I meet lots of, because of, you know, Exchange for Media and Impact and now Business World, I meet business owners who are big. Last year I met 2 very large global CEOs. And you know, the message I got from them was that, you know, while they're worried about bottom line and how much sales and how much is the brand worth, because if you look at Fortune 500 companies, 33% of the enterprise value on the balance sheet is the brand value. So, you know, what they're worried about is they want brands to be a force for good. And it's not a fad, or it's not what the chairman likes to say in his speech. But today, most organizations, especially the big ones, large ones, are, you know, really making brands for a force for good. So that is it. And Ravina जी के बारे में ये कहना चाहूँगा कि रवीना जी ने बहुत कम उम्र में बहुत कुछ पा लिया था. And you know, she turned a quasi entrepreneur, an entrepreneur. She was pioneering in television, both as a business person and as a content person. And you know, really, a lot of us, when I started Exchange for Media, I mean, she was running a very large company, and you know, you're lucky that somebody like is working with Bag, and hence you will have probably more interaction with her than you other people on the dais. So I hope I answered you asked me a very simple question, I gave you a very long answer. That's what happens when you get old. ठीक है मधुर, समझ आ गया?
Next we have Samarth Bajpayee. He has a question for you, ma'am, Ravina.
Oh, okay.
By Madhur, by asking a question, you built a brand out of yourself. At least we now know who's Madhur. Simple.
Yeah. Why do we promote people? Why do we promote Ajit Anjum on air and his show? And why do we promote? It's all about brand building. We promote Amne Samne. We promote, all our brands. We are also a brand. We are also becoming a brand. We also have public relations. So you all as journalists have to understand that it's not a bad word. It's all about give and take, but as long as integrity on both sides is maintained, that's one thing that I say matters a lot, because the public is not a fool. I think we all know today when we see something that is paid news, I think it's fairly easy to understand what is paid for and what isn't, even if it doesn't have the word advertorial up there. And please understand another very important thing before I take your question. When a sponsor comes on a news network, he does not pay for that news. He is paying for the audience your news delivers. Please understand the difference between sponsorship and paid news. So these are fine things you must learn. And another thing I want to say, in some of the best film schools and journalism schools in the world, and I'm lucky I went to NYU and did my broadcast journalism at the age of 33, I went back to school. The first thing they tell you is that if you don't understand the business of your business, you can be the most creative person on earth, nobody will work with you. So the fundamentals of even becoming a fabulous filmmaker today start with learning the business of filmmaking. So this session is important only for that perspective. Okay? Yes. Somebody had a question for me. Oh God.
Samarth Bajpayee.
Samarth has run away, thank God.
Do we have Niharika Duggal?
Hello sir, hello ma'am. And ma'am, my question is to both of you only. What are the most effective medium to reach out the target audience, according to you?
Anything that creates a conversation. And it depends on who's listening.
I think again the concept is, see what Anurag sir said, again it comes there. What exactly you want to do? What is your objective? It depends upon your objective. I mean, being a part of a industry, I mean, on the other side, if I'm into a pharmaceutical company, I will use some other mediums. If I'm into FMCG, I will use some other ways. If I'm into agriculture, I will use other mediums. So that all depends what is your objective, what is your industry, what exactly you want to do. I mean, do you want to build your brand for, promoting sub-brand, or do you want to educate people? Do you want to, do something which is adding revenue to it? So it all depends upon what exactly is your business and what is your objective, end of the day. So all actually that, make it clear that how to go about it. I mean, there are different mediums, different ways to do it.
I think the same principle is followed by us when we create shows and we decide on a news agenda. We decide not what we want to show alone, we also decide what the audience wants to see. Okay? So I think we are also building our brand by being sensitive to who we are talking to. I think it's all about who creates what impact on whom. And the medium is just the messenger. It's not the message.
I just want to add one thing which I forgot, is that I don't need a mic. I'm a loud Punjabi from Delhi. So, I wanted to, in my presentation, and is about integrated marketing communication. Integrated. आज कोई भी चीज़ हम ये नहीं बोलते कि टेलीविज़न पे करो या इंटरनेट पे करो या रेडियो में करो. So when you do something, आप उसको सारे मीडियम में एक्सप्लॉइट करते हैं. इंटरनेट भी उतना ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है, रेडियो भी. और जैसे मैंने कहा अभी फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता कि news24.com चैनल है कि वो वेबसाइट है, क्योंकि आप लोग तो कहीं से भी news24.com अपने आईपैड पे या फ़ोन पे टाइप करके इंफॉर्मेशन ले सकते हैं. सो यू नो जब ब्रांड प्लानिंग होती है तो इंटीग्रेटेड आप सारे एस्पेक्ट्स देखते हैं. आप सिर्फ ये नहीं देखते हैं कि क्या है. एंड एक और कॉन्सेप्ट है जो मैं अपने उसमें बोल रहा था, अर्न मीडिया एंड बॉट मीडिया, और व्हाट आई कॉल पेड मीडिया. नॉट पेड मीडिया इन द सेंस ऑफ पेड न्यूज़, बट जो एडवर्टाइजिंग एंड अर्न मीडिया इज व्हाट यू गेट से ऑन प्लेटफॉर्म्स लाइक फेसबुक, you know, social media platforms, when you do something which is innovative. And at the heart of whatever we do is an idea.
And a story.
And a story, yeah.
What's the story? If you're a story, you get written about, you get talked about. If you're not a story, you know, no amount of money will buy you that audience.
Lunch खाने का मन कर रहा है?
नहीं.
नहीं कर रहा, अरे.
Lunch time हो गया.
Anyone else?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Mike.
Hello ma'am, hello sir. I have been curious about this since past 5 years, and I didn't get a platform like this to ask to someone who could actually. I don't understand that how does a particular video go viral. I don't understand the logic of it. Just happens just like that. We wake up one morning and we come to know that recently a video called What Does the Fox Say went viral, and the same thing happened to Gangnam Style. How does it happen? What is the...
I will leave that to Anurag, but as the term implies, if it's contagious and infectious, it will go viral, just like
you know,
a virus.
if I grew hair, and you know the video of how I grew hair, it go viral. Everybody who does not have hair would like to see that video, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, I'm saying things that are unusual. So that's what I'm saying. If I grew hair, it'd be really unusual. I mean, if I didn't buy a wig and become an anchor, I'm kidding. But, you know, I'm just saying anything that is unusual and which people, you know, I talked to you about 2 videos, 1 book. जब मैं कुछ अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट में जाता हूँ तो मैं अपनी फैमिली में दोस्तों को चाहूँगा कि उनको बताऊँ, उनको शेयर करूँ, या अच्छी पिक्चर देखता हूँ, या कुछ भी अच्छी चीज़ है, या you know, so I think anything that is unique, good, and had you know, then people like to share, and then because it is unique, you know, its content is unique, you know, people, it just spreads, you know, it's like traditional word of mouth. So I don't think there is a huge effort today. In some cases, there is an effort to make a video viral. But I'm not sure that works.
It's a business.
It's a business, but I'm not sure it works, because what has to go viral goes viral. I mean, you know, Kolavari D, or you know, they didn't know that they'd go viral. They just created, but today, I mean, if you have unique content and something unusual, probably it go viral. I mean, I would say, you know, I don't know what, you know. I don't want to joke about some authority figures, but I had some crazy jokes coming. But you know, if it was unusual, it'd go viral. That's my theory.
The same principle applies, I must add, even to your daily soaps. Why do some daily soaps become huge blockbusters and others don't? It's a simple analogy, even with a video that goes viral. If it creates a conversation over the dinner table with your family members, and it gets talked about at college, and you wake up and you discuss it with your friends, it's going to go viral. It's as simple as that. It's all about being provocative and being different. Please, all of you, read a book called Unmarketing. It's a journalist's delight to read a book called Unmarketing. Please Google it, find it, buy it from Amazon. It's all about how social media works with things that don't work. Okay?
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any more questions?
One. We're trying to get that lady from Howard who wrote it. The Chinese lady?
No, it's written by a guy.
Then they
Gave
take
him an
it.
ASCON conference and,
No, but there's a
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. My question is that is the television industry dying today because of new media? Because today, for example, I want to be a broadcast journalist, and what people have been telling me is that the TV industry is dying because of the new media. Because if we approach a particular, let's say if we want to have an interview with Narendra Modi, and then we approach him, and then he says, no, my views are already, I've already updated them on Twitter. So what do you think? What do you think? Is the television industry dying because of the new media?
I don't think the broadcast industry is dying. But what is happening is what happened to print media when broadcast came in. You know, the good print media still exists and will continue to exist, and so is the case with broadcast. The issue is here that many channels and many, anybody is broadcasting today. So that will not happen. The good ones would survive, but that industry has expanded. Every broadcaster now has a digital arm to it. So it's like intertwined. Ultimately, what is that is getting created? It is the idea that is getting created, and it is the content that is getting created. So whether it's broadcasting or the new media or the digital media, there are different platforms. It's just that the platforms are shifting. It's not that any medium is dying, but it is becoming a one world. Today, I couldn't have thought of showing the, but today, for example, our brands are visible through the net, through the digital media across the world, which I couldn't have thought earlier. I would have had to make a huge amount of effort and spend loads of money to be visible. But today I'm getting done that. Also, what is happening is that ultimately, what is happening, whether in broadcast or in new media, is that who is able to engage yourself. Ultimately, it is engagement. The consumer, who's the viewer, or has to be engaged, whether through broadcast media or whether through digital media. It really doesn't matter.
And I'll add a very small point to it. परेशान होने की बात नहीं है कि आप ये सोच रहे हैं कि this television will die. Television will never die. End of the day, when I come back to home, I would like to sit in front of TV for at least 10 minutes to watch what is happening around. That will be there, at my dinner table or at my center table or my drawing room, whatever it is. That will be there. But ultimately, as ma'am said, the quality matters, the content matters. What actually you are doing. आप कभी रिटेल आउटलेट्स गए हैं, कभी बिग बाजार या ऐसे इसी तरीके का कोई रिटेल आउटलेट, इतने सारे शैम्पूस रखे होते हैं, इतने सारे अलग अलग किस्म के सोप्स रखे होते हैं, बट यू पिक विच यू फील इज द बेस्ट. सो एंड ऑफ द डे there will be more 100 channels will be there, but the only which is having good content, good quality, they will survive. Rest will so chalega.
Anurag, am I right when I say there are about 333 news channels in the country today?
Yeah, another 70 licenses, 70 plus licenses pending.
400.
I just want to give you a perspective very quickly. Is Anurradha ji ne kaha bilkul theek hai, aur I said something, I use a term called narrowcasting, which is, we as journalists, we speak at conferences, we have to be contrarian, so we keep thinking of some new terms, So basically, what is narrowcasting? Narrowcasting is reaching out to individuals one-on-one. What is YouTube? That's narrowcasting. So is YouTube a broadcasting network? Yes or no? Is YouTube a broadcasting network? Yes. So anything that can bring content to you, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow this content will, at the end of the day, there is a brand and there is a content. Baki sab pipe hai. Pipe se saman ja raha hai. It's a distribution mechanism.
Yeah.
And branded content will survive. So chinta mat kariye. And it is the distribution platforms are becoming more. Wahi content aap internet pe bhi dekh sakte hain, badi screen. And there is lots of investment happening in technology. For example, Apple TV, there is a dongle. अगर आप Apple TV का dongle use करें, तो जो आपके किसी भी screen पे है, you can project it on your TV screen. You can project Apple TV. Similarly, I have a friend who is my junior from engineering school. He's invested in a company which has a dongle which can take this content on your iPad and it can just, without anything, just put it on any screen. So why do you want to be in broadcasting? I bought Business World. I keep thinking I want to be in broadcasting, but I said, no, I'll create video content, but we'll use this technology to just do video out there, you know. So I think the old notions of what is broadcasting and what is not broadcasting, it change.
Ultimately, it is the content which will work. Ultimately, the profession that you are going in, if you want to be a journalist, then whatever is the platform doesn't matter. If you're a good journalist, if you have ideas and you're able to engage with your audience, you will, it really doesn't matter. Ultimately, these are all pipes.
Do you think a camera person in your team is not a broadcast journalist? It's only the writers? So broadcast journalism and journalism is a very multifaceted sort of a skill set. And if you're not able to sort of excel in all the facets of what journalism is going forward, that is when you will face challenges. Today, a television journalist has to be able to write a blog and a column. You have to be able to carry on a conversation with somebody when you meet. You can't just be, unidimensional anymore. So you want to be a broadcast journalist, I hope you can write an excellent column in a newspaper.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that, just to give you an idea, it's not dying. I can vouch for that. Because if you were to look at the advertising pie itself, it has grown from 40 to about 43% today of the advertising pie across India. It goes to television broadcasting, and it's growing year on year at about 12 to 13%. So clearly, it's got a long way to go. In the US, it's still going very strong. And when I mentioned that the internet is growing, yes, it's still, but it's a minuscule 8% of the total advertising budget. And just as ma'am had earlier mentioned, that it's all about engagement. And it's multi-screens formats which we are evolving to. And that's where it is headed. That you would have, the content is the mother of it all. And you could be, creating content, and then it could be on any platform, be it broadcasting, be it internet, and you could view that internet through a tablet or a mobile or anything. So that's where it is.
Today, all channels are on your phone. That doesn't mean they're no longer channels. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we have already exceeded our time window.
Doesn't matter if they have a couple of more questions.
My question is for Amit, sir. What does PSU do for its brand building?
A public service undertaking.
Yeah, so primarily, you have budgets. So in the beginning of the year, you allocate X amount of budget. And then it's through various ways. So PSUs primarily are more into events. So the trend which I've been seeing is that they are evolving and kind of moving towards interaction with the client directly and on the audiences directly through events. They're also advertising on television. I mean, you do see various PSUs now kind of interacting with things. So I see them behaving as and moving towards more a corporate trend wherein like they believe they need to kind of work on their brand equity. Thank you.
Mike.
Hello, ma'am. My question is that what is the scope of event agencies in today's?
What is the scope of?
Event agencies.
Event agencies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Event management.
Yes.
Okay, we were talking about this just recently.
I think
you have media brands who rely on events to build their brand. You have the film industry who relies on events to build its brand. The amount of award shows that exist. You have a channel like CNBC TV 18 that does about 100 events a year. That's where they make their money. Events is direct engagement with the people you really want to engage with, basically at the end of the day. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Absolutely. Shamelessly that we started a website in the business of experiential and events. It's called everythingexperiential.com. So it's become such a big domain that we've started because we can't do justice to it on Exchange for Media. Because, anything that is brand or media planning or broadcasting really gets priority and events don't. So you can read a site called everythingexperiential.com, and there's enough opportunities in the event sector, in event agencies.
And ultimately, in India, you have the marriage events companies.
Yeah, best.
They're the ultimate. From sari to makeup to
fails.
lehenga to flower wala to band baja wala, you have everything.
You've all heard of...
and it's a huge money, it's a huge market. You know,
why be a journalist?
It's a huge market. I mean, people are doing it and people are really rocking. The business goes into some 5,000 crore. More than that. I mean, that is what I just thought. But
I just want to tell you, another living, glaring example in our eyes. Doesn't matter how the story ends. There is a brand of a magazine called Tehelka. Okay. Until they started something called the Think Fest, which did 3 glorious years in Goa. Okay. That brand of magazine was not put on the global map. So that is how important an event can be for a brand. I just wanted to point that out.
I'd like to add a bottom line to it. But end of the day, it all works on your network, and all your network works on if you are a good communicator. So first you have to be a good communicator.
And if you have the media on your side.
Will it ever catch up with the entertainment industry, because these are all journalism students? I want to know your perspective, business perspective, and you as a promoter. Do you think the news industry will grow from bigger, like the entertainment industry has grown?
Okay.
Tenfold.
So many years ago, I was given the onerous task of starting a channel called Star News. And in those days, there were 1.5 channels who were showing 24/7 news in the country. And there was not more than 150, 200 crores of revenue in the business. And I was given a very clear mandate. Make news more inclusive, you have to grow the base. Okay? And we're still doing that. I think the trends that were set in those days from the early brands, the industry has grown. The kind of audiences who watch news today are very different to those who used to watch news 15 years ago. So the industry will continue to grow at an alarming pace in terms of spreading. The news business is going to grow huge. The news and media business. And don't forget, I've always said that entertainment is also media. So don't separate the two. Your purpose and your content is different. Your audience is the same.
So what is going to happen now that now that the pay television has started working in India, that we are going through the second phase of digitization process, which is completing. Till now, the news media has been totally dependent on the advertising revenue. Now that the whole digitization process has taken over, and the monies that the consumer pays, that you and your family pays to the cable wala, it is not coming back to the business. Now it is going to come back to the business, and therefore better content, better idea, better facilities, and good journalism will come in, and therefore news will grow. And the distinction between entertainment and news, thanks to the new media, the digital media, is getting blurred. Something it is getting blurred. Today a Kejriwal sells as well as a daily soap, a Saas Bahu.
It's the cost of talent.
It's just the cost of talent. It's the cost of talent. The news medium will also start making that much of money, because what has been happening, that when our whole system took place, it wasn't properly worked out. The business of it was not worked out. It was lopsided towards cable walas. So we were it was so surprising that all the news channels were blackmailed by the mafia, the cable mafia. But you had no other option but to be blackmailed, because unless and until you reach to the consumer, how do you get seen? Dikhoge tabhi to bikoge, na?
And the entertainment industry has invested in heroes and role models for much longer than the news industry has. And this investment has only just started happening, with brand building, with personalities evolving, and more people watching news and more people accepting more people. So I think it's going to grow, and the talent in the news industry is also going to start costing a lot going forward. So you'll all make more money. Good.
Broadcast journalists.
I like to add over here. I think news is evolving as well. So clearly it was initially news, but I think now as we evolve, I think it's more views. It's the viewpoint of the audiences. So I think that's the way, we talked about engagement, and that's the mantra, and the ROE is what everybody's looking at. So news is slowly moving towards engagement. It's your views and your opinions which matter. So I think news is also evolving. It's just not pure news.
So thank you all for understanding that what goes behind and what goes for how does the broadcast industry works, how does the news medium works, because ultimately salary to chahiye na. हैं? पहली तारीख को सैलरी तो चाहिए सबको, तो वो कहाँ से आएगी? That's very important. That's extremely important. वो नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है. So for the whole entire broadcasting industry, entire news industry, it's very important to build brand and be engaged with your viewers. So that's the mantra for today. Thank you, Anurag ji. Thank you, Ravina. Thank you, Push. Thank you, Amit, for being part of this discussion. ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं समझ में आया होगा, चीज़ें ऊपर से गुजरी होंगी तो कोई बात नहीं, बट समझने की कोशिश करो आप लोग. Thank you all.